Hey, business building warrior, welcome to the weekend update episode. Today is Saturday, March 7th, 2026. Wow, the year is flying by. Hey, here's what we do on weekend episodes around here. If you're a new listener, you need to listen up. If you've been around a while, you already know, but weekend episodes are just a couple minutes of timely, time-sensitive bits of information. Maybe there's something you need to circle on your calendar, a new announcement of some kind that you need to be aware of as a business building warrior, an Amazon seller, an e-commerce entrepreneur. We've got some announcements for you, one or two every week. It's time sensitive. And then after that, we love spending some time with the newest listeners of our podcast. And that's people who have maybe only listened to, 5, 10, 15 episodes. You've never heard a weekend episode. Well, stick around if that's you, because what I do in the second portion of weekend episodes is I spend time breaking down all the facts, data, and evidence that you need to make a really good decision about your next move in e-commerce. What are we seeing? What are the trends? What business model are we most excited about right now based on, like I said, the facts, data, and evidence? And if you don't want to just believe one dude that you just met, me, hey, how about you scroll back in time on our podcast and hear not just dozens, but hundreds of interviews with the successful students who have taken the advice that I'll be giving you in the second portion of today's podcast episode. But first, the announcements. What are the announcements, Jim? Let's get to it. Well, we just did a webinar March 5th, just a couple days ago. It's posted at 3pmercury.com/webinar. I'll stick that link in the show notes, where we revealed the latest incredible advancements in using artificial intelligence to manage as much of your Amazon reselling business as possible. Some of the latest updates that 3P Mercury has, that's the tool that we demonstrate in the webinar. Some of the latest advancements include the ability to go out and find the buy cost for every item in your catalog. Now, that may not be too impressive if you're only selling 5, 10, maybe 50 or 100 different items that you're selling, different products that you're selling. It's like, oh, I can manually update that. Well, what if you have a catalog of, say, 5,000 products that you're monitoring to sell on Amazon? Or what about 10,000? What about 25 or 50 or 80,000? Or what about 100,000 or more products? Could you monitor that many products and make sure that you were buying more of them when it made sense to? That you were keeping updated on all the costs? It cost $9 last week at Walmart. Now it costs $11 at Walmart. And it's actually on sale for $7 at this supplier over here. How do you keep track of all that with all of your products? You need to have an army of virtual assistants or 3P Mercury, the software. It's the only tool that's doing the stuff that it's doing. We are so far ahead of the entire Amazon reselling game right now. We have seller after seller posting success stories, talking about how excited they are about what they're seeing. Many multiple 7-figure sellers now using the tool, and a lot of brand new students getting started the right way, letting really smart software simplify Amazon reselling. So go check out that webinar. If you missed it, obviously you're listening to this on Saturday, a couple days after the webinar happened. That video is still posted there. It's also on YouTube, so we'll post a link to that as well. 3pmercury.com/webinar is the link. It has the video there. The video is also on YouTube. Look for both those links in the show notes. That's the first announcement. Let's put artificial intelligence to work for just a few dollars per day, completely revolutionize the way that you do Amazon reselling. We like to say now the quickest way to describe what 3P Mercury is, it's the software that reduces Amazon reselling to 2 simple steps. Find products anywhere, everywhere, doesn't matter where. Step 2, let the software tell you which of those products make the most sense for you to purchase at any given time based on the highest possible odds of the best possible profits as quickly as possible. That's what the software does. Find products, let the software tell you what to buy. All right, what other announcements do you have, Jim? Well, it occurred to me last week, I haven't mentioned this in a while. We've got a lot of new listeners. Thanks, by the way, for spreading the word. We love seeing all those new listeners pop into our community and Facebook group. But did you know that this whole podcast is based on the popularity of a best-selling book called Silent Sales Machine? This is Silent Sales Machine Radio, the podcast. Well, there's a book. Oh, Jim's trying to sell a book. No, I'm going to give you a copy, even though it has sold over 1 million copies. Past versions of this have sold over 1 million copies. You can see all the reviews on Amazon if you want to go check it out. But that's the older version. The latest version is yours, completely free, no obligation to do anything else ever except enjoy it. silentjim.com/free11 is the book. Now, what we've been doing is giving that away for several months now, a good while now. It is a step-by-step tour through what's out there in the arena of e-commerce and online business opportunities and which one makes the most sense for you. It also steers you away from a lot of, or I would like to think all of the most common scams and con artists and rip-off business ideas out there. How do you know what's legit and what isn't? Well, let me give you a little tip. This is a tip from the book. If you enjoy this, you're going to love the book. Here's a little tip from the book. I can guarantee you will never be scammed again with a business opportunity online if you follow one simple rule. It's actually one simple question that you have to ask. If you learn to ask this question, never again do you have to worry about being ripped off or going down a dead end into a black hole where you just pour a bunch of money and nothing good ever happens. How do you avoid that, Jim? How do you avoid finding out later that it was a scam? Well, here, it's very easy. You ask the people who are offering to train you on a new system one simple question. What's the question? Hey, here's the question. Hey, where can I go online to hang out with your other students and hear their stories and see their results? Where do I go to experience that? Before you pay any money at all, you ask that question. And if you don't get an answer that you love, hide your wallet, delete, block, report. You're out of there, mister. Run. I don't care if it's a YouTube channel with 100,000 followers. If they don't have a community of people who are successful doing the stuff they teach and you can't interact with those people openly, freely, then it's just another popular shiny object. That's one of the lessons from the book. And I'm proud of, by the way, the answer you'd get when you ask that in our community. What you'll see is about 3,000 success posts in our free Facebook group. There's a link at silentjimdotcom to that. You can go see for yourself. 3,000 success posts, hundreds of those people we've interviewed on this podcast. That's our answer. Come hang out. Take your time. If it takes you 9 months to make a decision, we don't care. We're going to be here. This is what we've been doing for 23 years. Mind you, the longest running e-commerce coaching program in the world, to my knowledge, 23 plus years, going up on 24. Jim Cockrum Coaching is that old. Yes, I'm that old. But what that means is we've been doing it the right way a long time with a great reputation. Ask any artificial intelligence or your favorite search engine about my reputation, about this community. You're going to see some good stuff. Why is that? Well, because we do things the right way here. And we're so glad that you spent some time with us on this weekend episode. So if you're keeping count, we've had count them, 1, 2 announcements so far. The first one, we just had a webinar. There's a link. You got to go check it out. Artificial intelligence has invaded reselling, and reselling will never be the same. And you have an opportunity to jump in at such a great time. I've been saying lately that this is the best time ever to get started as an Amazon reseller. There's never been another time that was anywhere near as exciting because of the tools, resources, and training that's available. And announcement number 2 was the free book, silentjim.com/free11. There's a link in the show notes today. If you want to take advantage of that, go grab a copy. And if I haven't driven you crazy with my voice yet, you're going to enjoy the book. It's audio only, audio video only book. So enjoy that. We'll have the printed version at some point when we get around to it. Okay, what's the last announcement before we get into talking to all the newest listeners and making sure that they get all the facts, data, and evidence that they need to make a good decision about Amazon reselling? Well, the third announcement is I want you to circle on your calendar. You have a calendar on your refrigerator, right? You can circle and make notes on. I need you to go find it. Circle that last full week of August of 2026, because for the 14th time, our annual event will be happening somewhere on that calendar right in that week. And I'm going to give you more details as soon as we have them. If you want to keep up to date with the details as they come, keep an eye on theprovenconference.com. That's a website of 3 words, theprovenconference.com. It's the longest running annual event for Amazon sellers in the world, and we want you there to come join us, partner up with us. And we're going to tell you where it's at, give you the details as soon as we possibly can. We're working very hard on this. I'm actually flying to check out the venue very soon. It's coming. It's happening. We're going to make it happen. All right. So those details will be coming at you soon, but you need to block out the date so you don't actually end up doing something nowhere near as fun and committing to something that you shouldn't have committed to. Tell your kids not to get married on that date. Tell your kids not to graduate during that date. Tell your grandkids, no, they can't have fun at your house during that date. You're going to the Proven Conference that last week of August. So block it out, protect it, and we'll see you as we gather with hundreds of fellow listeners to this show. All right, that's a lot of announcements. That's enough of me blabbering on. Let's get over into the second portion of the weekend update, which is where we spend a lot of time breaking down the business opportunities that we teach here, helping you decide if you want to plug further into this community of business building warriors. Enjoy. Hey, thanks for sticking around for the second portion of the weekend update episode. And like I mentioned earlier, on today's episode, what we do around here on weekends is we talk about the business model that we are most excited about. The business model that has resulted in not just dozens, not just hundreds, but thousands of people reporting incredible incomes, building beautiful businesses. These are real people. You can hear them on our podcast. If you scroll back in time, you're going to hear interview after interview after interview, dozens of recent ones, hundreds over the years of people who have followed our ever improving systems and processes, ever simpler systems and processes to build incredible businesses. So what I'm going to do is lay out the facts, the data, the evidence, and tell you how you can investigate this opportunity for yourself and then make a decision if this is something you want to do based on your availability of time and resources and your excitement about the way the world is heading in a certain direction that I'm about to tell you all about. Let's start with a simple question. And this is an eye-opening question. Most people who are newer to Amazon selling will get this question wrong. I'll give you that's a big hint. Very wrong. But I want you to think for a moment in your mind and just imagine a number that represents how much, based on a percentage, how much of all retail spending in the United States is online. Right? How much of it is people getting in their cars, going to stores and buying things versus getting online and buying things? And I want you to pause this. If you haven't heard this before, I want you to pause and think what you imagine that number might be. Is it 50-50, meaning half the time people shop online, half the time they go to the store, or is it something different? You tell me what you think that number is. And it's a very important number for us to understand because it illustrates a very important point that I'm about to make. So pause the episode, give it some thought. I'm going to tell you the number right now. The number is 20%, less than 20% actually, of all retail spending is online. You can go verify the data if you want. Go use any favorite Google search engine, AI, artificial intelligence search, whatever. By the way, while you're using AI, research our community, my name, the Proven Amazon course. Check out the reputation. It is the industry leading reputation. We're very proud of that. For over 2 decades, we've been teaching people how to build real businesses on Amazon. So while you're doing your research, ask that question too. But back to the point I'm making. A lot of people are under the impression that e-commerce has already taken over the world, that they are late to the game, that everybody shops online all the time and there's no room for anyone else to get in the game. Well, you couldn't be further from the truth. E-commerce in the United States represents less than 20% of retail spending, far less, actually. That means there's a world of opportunity that's still going to open up in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. E-commerce is exploding in growth. It's growing very rapidly. Many will say, and statistics will show us that it's the fastest growing economic sector in the United States. So it's relatively small with a very bright future ahead as it continues to grow. That's fact number one. Fact number two that I want you to understand is In e-commerce, it should be no surprise to you that Amazon represents about half of all spending among American consumers. Now, the strategies we teach around here can be deployed by anyone, anywhere in the world. We have students all over the world. For example, one of our coaches lives in Slovakia. He never sees or touches his products, but he buys and sells in the United States on Amazon.com all day, every day. We also have students in Canada and the UK who use these strategies right at home. But the main point is where you live doesn't matter. But in the United States, half of all e-commerce is approximately is on Amazon. Amazon's the big boy in the room. Well, why don't you teach all these other concepts and these different platforms? Well, we love multiple streams of income here, but the fact is half of all spending any given day is on one platform. And better yet, as I'll illustrate in a couple minutes, there is loads of underserved shelf space in Amazon's massive hundreds of warehouses network. It's such a low hanging fruit opportunity once you understand the strategies that you need and the tools that you need. It's just not a complicated business, as I'll soon illustrate. So let's recap. E-commerce is in its infancy. Amazon is the dominant company in that space that has a very bright future. And by the way, did you hear Amazon just recently passed Walmart for total money spent, total sales just now? So Amazon is catching ground quickly on the big boys, and the future is very bright. More and more people are shopping online every day. They're spending more and more money. Every Christmas for the past 15 years has seen new records set with e-commerce and Amazon spending, and there's no sign of slowing down in the future. So the recap is what we've covered so far, plus the fact that there's a lot of underserved shelf space in Amazon's massive hundreds of warehouses. Now, what do I mean when I say a massive hundreds of warehouse network? You probably know that Amazon has warehouses all over the United States. And at any given time, shoppers are shopping not the entire warehouse network. Millions of shoppers every day are looking at just one warehouse, the one nearest to them, because they want something quickly. Now, if they're willing to wait 2 weeks, let's say, they can get just about anything they want from Amazon. But if people are comparing getting in their car and going to Amazon versus getting something quickly delivered to their front porch, they're probably looking for speed way more than they're looking to save money. Millions of shoppers treat Amazon the way people who eat food treat DoorDash. And that's a very important lesson for you to learn because it helps me start to illustrate that you're not competing against tens of thousands of other sellers and a bunch of other people selling the same thing you are. In many, many cases, millions of times per day, as a matter of fact, we've demonstrated repeatedly, sellers have no competition. Even though there may be a whole bunch of other sellers selling the same thing, that's not their competition at all. They have no competition because they happen to be the only unit of inventory sitting in a warehouse near a shopper who wants that item quickly. Just the way people use DoorDash, they'll pay way more than they have to get what they want quickly. People use Amazon that way all day, every day. And if you are not helping fill that underserved shelf space, that empty shelf space in Amazon's massive warehouse network, well, you're missing out on a huge, huge opportunity. And that's just one of the exciting opportunities that we love to expose our students to, but it's a beautiful one. Now, let me just pause here because I haven't mentioned the course that's going to step you through this one baby step at a time. If you have zero e-commerce experience, if you can barely use email, that's okay. We will walk you through the process of learning to fill Amazon's underserved shelf space. It's a very popular course called the Proven Amazon Course. You can go to provenamazoncourse.com and grab it right now. $39 a month gets you instant full access to the entire library, where we start you off with a getting started roadmap, where we go through the very baby step basics of getting set up, finding those first few items, getting rolling, learning the business. It's not complicated. Within 10 or 15 hours of study, you're going to have 90% of what you'll ever need to run a great business. The other 10% is going to come over time, experience, experimentation. But the beautiful thing about this business model is we've eliminated to the greatest degree humanly possible the risk, because what you're looking for is capital protection opportunities and you're testing very small. We've come to call this business model the low, low, high model in our community. What's that mean? Low risk, low cost to get started, low barrier to entry, very high odds of success. Almost the complete opposite of every other business model I'm aware of that's out there. We're offering one not with low odds of success and high barrier to entry and high cost and high learning curve. No, that's most businesses. This is the opposite: low learning curve, low cost, low risk profile, very high odds of success, because you're hopping in front of a massive mega trend in our culture where people are shopping more and more online. They're willing to spend more and more for speed and convenience, and you're getting out in front of that huge trend. Now, let me give you one other little aside that should get you very excited about this opportunity. Here we are in 2026. Up until about a year ago, it was impossible to do what I'm about to describe to you. But as of now, not only is it possible, it is being embraced by hundreds of other Amazon sellers in our community already, and it's completely changed the way we do the business. Now, in recent podcast episodes, as you scroll back in time, you're going to hear this theme of this software called 3P Mercury. Why is it such a big deal? What is this new software tool that everyone's talking about? It's the tool that finally has reduced Amazon reselling to two simple steps. And those two steps are: find products anywhere. It doesn't matter where. You can scan a retail website with tools that will tell you all about. You can get a wholesale list from somewhere. You can purchase lists of hot products from people who create buy lists. It doesn't matter where you get your products from. We call them ASINs in this community. ASIN is Amazon's terminology for every unique listing on their website. So when you're shopping for a product, if you scroll down the page, you're going to see the weight and the size and all that. And it's going to say ASIN, ASIN. It's going to have a unique number there that identifies that product. So anyone who has one of those to sell, they're selling against that ASIN. So you're going to find hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands or more ASINs, and you're going to throw them into 3P Mercury. That software is going to tell you when it's time to buy products, when it makes sense to invest in products. That's the business model summarized. That's an overview of what it is you're going to be doing. It's no more complicated than that. It used to be. If you were getting into Amazon selling, say, 3, 5, 7 years ago, it was far more complex. You were analyzing every product yourself on a regular basis and trying to decide when to get in, when to get out, how much to buy. It's been 3 months. Should I go back and look at this product? If you had a list of 1,000 products to keep track of, it was a full-time job to go back and constantly be checking and updating. What's the price? Does it make sense to buy more? All that manual work has been removed. So you can now go find hundreds, like I said, and we have many people who find hundreds of products daily, viable products, and throw them into 3P Mercury. Thousands, tens of thousands, 100,000 or more products, and the software tells you which ones make the most sense to sell. That's Amazon reselling using the power tools that are available to us now. The learning curve has been flattened. It's so much easier to learn this business model now. Hey, if you want to talk to someone on our team and just have a conversation for half an hour or so about whether this business makes sense for you, we'd love to have that conversation. You can go to silentjimdotcom/book a call. We'll hop on a phone call with you. You can schedule it. You can call us anytime, text us. We'll talk you through your options. Right now is an incredible time. 2026 is, I would argue, if not the best, one of the best times in the past 15 years to be jumping in, because of the tools and technology that now does so much of the heavy lifting, and the strategies we have now for helping you find bulk ASINs, bulk viable products that you can pour into the software and let the software do the heavy lifting. We'd love to talk to you about how all of this works. give us a call, text us, or hop on our schedule. silentjimdotcom/book a call is the way to do that. All right. So what's the reality of this business? What's it going to cost me to do this business? What's the reality of getting started? Well, let's dive into some of that. Cost wise, the Proven Amazon course, I already told you about it, provenamazoncourse.com. That's about $39 a month. Software, Keepa is a software tool. I'm not going to dive into it right now, but it's a power tool that you're going to be exposed to a lot around here. It scrapes Amazon data better than just about any other tool out there. And it gives you a really good insight into where the stupid inventory is and where the smart inventory is. It's a good tool for you to get to know, although you don't have to go anywhere near as deep as you used to, because remember, software can now help you make a lot of these decisions. But that's $20 a month or so, approximately. So we're up to what, about 60 a month? Your Amazon selling account is going to be about 40 a month as well. So we're at about $100 a month to do this business. That's the cost. Now you're going to have to buy some inventory as well. You're going to need, at a minimum, a few $100s. Ideally, you've got a few $1,000s that you can begin experimenting and buying inventory. And remember, this is very low risk. You're not spending a lot of money. You're buying 2 or 3 units at a time, maybe 4 or 5 units at a time of products that cost somewhere between $5 and $20 each, knowing that your worst case scenario is you'll break even in a few weeks as you sell these items. The way you know they're going to sell is because you learn to read the data that tells you what the fast moving products are, where the pricing opportunities are. That's part of the training you're going to receive. But what's the bare basic minimum of how much it's going to cost? About 100 a month. You'll need a few hundred up to ideally a few thousand to get started. You can scale in at your own pace. 10 hours or so per week is what we suggest to keep your momentum. There's nothing that has to be done every day, but you do need to check in on a regular basis with your business. What can this look like over time? Well, I would encourage you scroll back and listen to some of the dozens or hundreds of podcast episodes with our other students. This is simply an incredible business model. You're going to meet many multiple 7-figure sellers who have built ridiculously automated systems where they're just deciding how much money to put in and they're letting the system run. Or some people manage a lot of it, the day to day themselves. They prep their product, they touch their product. Other people decide they want someone else to do that for them. We teach you all those options. So the reality is, you start off with a bit of a learning curve, you buy some inventory, you test, you scale over time. The sky is the limit from there because Amazon is simply exploding in growth. And at any given time, we've demonstrated repeatedly there are millions and millions of products that are inadequately stocked in Amazon's massive warehouse network. It happens all day, every day. Here's a test you can do yourself. Hop on Amazon and shop for some popular items that you would think Amazon would have plenty of, some everyday common stuff. Then look at the delivery dates and the options that you have. It's not hard to find popular products that'll take 2, 3, 5 days to get to you, 7 or 9 days to get to you. What's going on, Amazon? Well, Amazon doesn't stock its own shelves nearly to the extent that third-party sellers do. That means if there's no third-party seller like you or me filling Amazon shelves with the everyday popular common stuff people want, then people are going to have to wait for it to ship from 3,000 miles away in some cases because there's none locally, or maybe they're out of stock entirely. That happens all day, every day. At any given time, hundreds of thousands of popular products are entirely out of stock in Amazon's massive warehouse network. You send those products in, you price them at a high enough level where only the people who are saying, man, I want it fast, are going to be interested. You're going to make sales. Experiment with it. You'll see for yourself. We call it selling above the buy box. Don't get obsessed with trying to be the best price. You don't have to be. With all these underserved, understocked products in Amazon's massive warehouse network, you can price your inventory very high and get great results. And that's just one of the strategies that we love to teach around here. But you're going to hear from a whole lot of people on our podcast, if you scroll back in time, who are doing just that. Well, I wanted to give you a walkthrough today. I didn't want to overwhelm you with a whole bunch of statistics and data and new software names. I wanted to keep it fairly simple. But hopefully you feel clarity right now as to whether this is something you want to continue to investigate or if it just doesn't sound like it's for you. Now, why it wouldn't sound like it's for you, I'm not sure. If you have no time, if you have absolutely no money, you can't afford $100 a month for the tools for a couple months until things start rolling. Okay, I get it. So if you don't have any margin in your life, time, money, health, okay, maybe it's not for you. But if you have a little extra time, a little extra money, you have the health, you made it through this podcast episode and you followed me for the most part, maybe not every detail. Maybe you could listen to it again. I bet you would catch on a little faster. But I think the next thing you should do is one of two things. The next step is first, if you like learning from courses and content at your own pace, getting what you need as you need it, and applying what you're learning as you go, the Proven Amazon course is your perfect option. ProvenAmazonCourse.com. Start there. We'll step you through it. That is the starting point. If you want that course completely free and you want someone to handhold you on this journey, we offer those options as well. And we offer a handful of other options that are a hybrid of those two. But you got to have a conversation with us so we can talk you through and meet you and see which option makes the most sense for you, which is why I'm going to encourage you as another great starting point to reach out to our office and have a conversation with us. You can go to silentjimdotcom/book a call, set that up. Let's have a conversation. We'll fill you in on all the details, answer all your questions. Keep listening to the podcast regardless, however, because what you're going to find is a whole lot of instruction and encouragement. We're so excited about this community. Do your research. Research my name, Jim Cockrum. It appears right on the podcast. Go ask your favorite AI engine about my reputation and see what it has to say. We've helped a lot of people launch beautiful businesses, and we've surrounded it all in biblical concepts for business and life in such a way that makes this community very unique. You certainly don't have to be a Christian to be a part of our community, but the biblical concepts that we've infused into every aspect of doing business and life around here, you're going to find it very uplifting and encouraging, motivating. Our job here is to motivate and equip you to excellence, help you build an incredible business of your dreams. That's what I feel like I was put here to do. And I love doing it all day, every day. I've been doing it for over 20 years. My family has grown up with kids who are now getting married and having grandkids. That's all they've ever known for 23 plus years. E-commerce, the flexibility, the lifestyle. And I want that for others. One of my core missions, I actually have a nonprofit organization set up with this name, Bringing Dads Home, bringing families under the same roof at the same time, doing big things together, enjoying life, building businesses, enjoying all that God has blessed us with. That's what we do here. And the best tool that I see right now for making that happen, if you're motivated, have a little bit of money to get started, and you recognize the bright future of e-commerce, well, the best strategy is the Proven Amazon course and reselling on Amazon. There's a lot of other great ideas out there, but man, this is the lowest risk, lowest cost, lowest barrier to entry, highest odds of success business model that I've ever seen, and we'd love to show it to you. Thanks for hanging out with me for a few minutes. Hopefully you enjoyed this weekend update. Keep listening to our show. On the non-weekend episodes, you're going to hear some great interviews. Scroll back in time, listen to the most recent episodes first. Send us your feedback. My personal email address is jimcockrum@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what's on your mind. Let me know how I can help you out. We've got a great team here, dozens of coaches who are all previously very successful students that we recruited to help coach you on your journey. We'd love to connect you with one of them if that makes sense as well. All the links are in the show notes. Hey, God bless you, business building warrior. Have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for listening to this episode. We'll talk to you soon.